Welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast. I'm Ani Anderson.
And I'm Brian Trzaskos. Join us as we explore the science
and art of trauma-sensitive somatic practices and tools.
Strengthen your practice as a coach, therapist, or holistic professional.
Master the art of motivating even the most challenging clients when you understand how to tap into and unlock your client's complete holistic intelligence.
If you want to learn the most cutting-edge, research-supported skills for personal and professional mastery, you've come to the right place. Let's get this conversation started. Hello and welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast for our episode 74, How to Escape the Drama Triangle.
Ooh.
Ani, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How do we get out of the Bermuda Triangle?
It's the Bermuda Triangle. It feels like you're so trapped when you're in the drama triangle. Actually, a lot of people don't even know they're in the drama triangle. They just know that they're like in drama and they can't get out. So I love that
when we
topic.
talk about drama, what do you mean by drama? Like, how would someone even know that they're in drama?
Oh, you know. It's like there's conflict. There's some, well, when we describe the drama triangle, you'll understand because you either feel like a victim of something, or you feel like a perpetrator, or you feel like you've got to save somebody.
Okay.
So there's that conflict, and those specific archetypes can really show up. And if you feel like you're identifying with any of those roles, you're definitely in the drama triangle.
So are we talking about, like, I heard you say three roles. I heard you say tell me them again.
The victim, the
perpetrator,
and the hero. Now, can I just pause for a second?
Yeah.
Because the drama triangle has been used for a long time, Brian, and some of the language that I'm going to use is like it differs when you look at it in different places. It can differ slightly. So, for example, the hero might be called the rescuer, or I said perpetrator.
Yeah.
Anyway, those roles can have a little bit different
names okay.
Sometimes, but they basically mean the same thing. So I'm just using the victim, perpetrator, hero, as I'm describing it.
And so are we talking about like one person or three people have to be in this triangle, or what's the story?
That's the cool thing about the drama triangle. Actually, when we're in drama, we usually identify with one of those roles.
Okay.
Like, I feel like the victim, or I feel like the perpetrator. I feel like the hero. I've got to save somebody. When we really take a step back, when we can widen our perspective to really look at what's going on, the cool and crazy thing is all of those role delineations can shift, and we can see how the victim is actually also the hero, and the perpetrator's actually also the victim. And it gets like this, it's like a top spinning. It's, I love patterns. I love like looking at patterns.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite things to look at this drama triangle dynamic and see how it's playing out from all the different angles. Now, let me tell you, my client may not want to hear about that though, because we get really attached to our roles. And a big part of escaping the drama triangle, as we're going to talk about actually, is being able to disidentify with that role and being able to try on a new one. But people can get really attached to their roles, and like, this is how it is. Like, the reality that I'm seeing, I'm telling you, it's true.
As you're talking about these three roles, what kind of makes me laugh, I think about this cartoon I used to watch as a kid, Dudley Do-Right, where there was a Penelope, I can't remember her last name, was a P name, and then there was this dastardly guy that always tied her to a railroad track, and Dudley Do-Right had to come save her all the time.
Every episode.
Yeah, every episode. And it was this game.
Is that a pattern?
This game we used to play as a kid. If you had when I had hair, I used to have a comb. Like, we carry around combs when we were, in elementary school.
Yeah.
And this little game we used to play, like, you take the comb and it could either be a bow on the top of your head, or a mustache, or a bow tie. And we play the game like the game was, I can't pay the rent, you must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent, you must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent, you must pay the rent. I'll pay the rent, and so you've got all of those.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's all of those things. And it's like the same person kind of moving the comb, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. When you really look at the drama triangle, you can see how they all not only interact with each other, but if you look at the situation in a different way, that it actually the roles can change for the same person.
So can you actually kind of have like drama triangles interlocked with another person? Like I have my own drama triangle going on, and like I'm a victim in my drama triangle, but I'm having drama with you, and so I could be maybe thinking you're the perpetrator in my triangle, but
100%.
in your triangle, you could think that you're the victim and
Exactly.
I'm the perpetrator.
100%. That's what I'm talking about. It's like a top spinning. Like you can look at it from all kinds of different perspectives. And there's definitely those three roles though.
Okay.
Those three roles are always happening in some capacity. And I mean, I think one of the cool things about being able to identify that is to be able to say, oh my gosh, I'm in the drama triangle.
So
But yes, you can be in your drama triangle. I can be in mine. You know, the thing is too, I can decide I'm not going to be in the drama triangle anymore, and I can do my resolving thing. And you might decide that you might not even know how to get out of it. You might not even know you're in it, and you could still be in the drama triangle, but I don't have to be. And I think that's something that's really awesome, because so often with drama, we feel like I've got to get you to change or to see something different so that I can get out of this.
Interesting.
It's not true.
You know, so what I think is interesting is I'm thinking about you know me, I have so much drama in my life.
Drama queen, king.
So
Yes.
the times I have been in drama in my life,
The one
the
time.
one time I was in drama in my life was so
You just don't participate.
I could see, yeah, I'm like whatever with the triangle. I could see pretty probably easily and quickly identifying with the victim
Sure.
in the drama triangle. I could see pretty easily identifying with the hero
Yeah.
in the drama triangle.
Yeah.
I wonder how often people actually self-identify as the perpetrator. I keep wanting to
Well,
say villain,
I
a
have.
perpetrator in the drama
I
triangle.
have in my life,
Hmm.
and it's been very painful. I'm being totally
Yep.
serious. I
Was I
remember
the victim in that one?
you were nice, Brian. Maybe sometimes, owie. Yes, because like I can have mean tendencies, but that's not what I was thinking
Okay.
of. I was thinking of some major trauma that we had in our personal lives when we got together,
Okay.
and was being blamed by a lot of people for the circumstance. And so I did look at myself and say, oh my gosh, I'm the perpetrator of
Oh
this whole
yeah.
thing.
Okay. All right. All right. Yep.
And it was incredibly painful. But if you listen to that, on some degree, you'd think, well, maybe she's taking personal responsibility, but I was still in the drama triangle because there was still a victim, wasn't there?
Right. So there's someone
Right.
that you had to have been
And there was
perpetrating.
still the hero. The
Hmm.
people who were yelling at me thought they were doing a good thing, being so I saw them as like trying to be the hero, for example.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
So
But no, most of the time when I've worked with people with this, they are identifying as the hero.
most of the time they're identifying as the hero. Okay.
Correct.
No, I
The,
think that
that
would
makes
be a
sense.
socially
Exactly.
acceptable and a
Exactly.
place to be, right?
Exactly. So I've worked with people and with myself where they feel like they're the victim, but that is a less socially appropriate role to be playing. The most socially appropriate role in the drama triangle is absolutely the hero. So I have heard more often when people are in the drama triangle and they're the hero. Now here's, amazing, right? Because when you feel like you're playing the hero, a lot of times you don't recognize you're in the drama triangle. It's easier to recognize when you feel victimized.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you're playing the hero role, you're also stuck in the drama triangle because there must be somebody that you have to rescue.
Yeah. So there's always that tension of, well, we're calling it drama.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's always some type of attachment to the role. What I think is really interesting too, Ani, what I can imagine is, a lot of times we talk about the idea of the thalamus kind of
Yes.
putting off this pulse every tenth of a second, creating a filter for how we see the world.
Yes.
And I could see that if you were stuck in the drama triangle as any one of those roles, let's just say the victim role for a second, then any interaction that anybody else has with you, you would automatically create a filter of you being victimized by whatever else is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what, and also it sounds like, do we automatically then also project someone else into one of those other roles? Is that part of the thing? We
It
can't be in
has
a
to
drama
work,
track by
right?
ourselves. We need
It
to
ha-
actually be in the drama with somebody
it
else. Yeah.
has to work. Yeah. And it's not always a person. So for example, I could feel perpetrated by life,
Ah, interesting.
the universe, God, right?
Hmm.
So that kind of thing plays out too. So there's still a role. It might not be a person, but there's still a role. It's one of the reasons, Brian, when I created the Find Your Soul's Agenda process that we use for purpose work, it I won't say I did this consciously, but when I looked back on it, I was so excited about this. The process is called the soul's agenda, as if the soul might have an agenda for us. And we can see and we can listen to that soul's agenda and think, oh, there's a destiny and a plan for me. But we can also hear into it like the soul has an agenda that I didn't sign up for.
Ah, interesting. Yeah.
And when we work with the soul's agenda, part of the resolving factor with that is to understand that when life shows up like we like it to show up and like we don't like it to show up, we're still on purpose.
Hmm.
And in that way, it actually helps us to step out of the drama triangle. The soul's agenda process actually helps somebody to step out of the drama triangle in a powerful way so that they can see that they have more empowerment over their life and the universe, God, life in general is not a perpetrator of their victimization,
Yeah.
waiting for a hero.
Right. Yeah. So that's really interesting. So I heard two things. Number one, we're always on purpose, even if we don't feel like it.
Yeah.
We're always on purpose, and having that acknowledgement and having that uh, leaning into that truth is a way that you can break out of the drama triangle, number one. And then number two, think the interesting thing about the drama triangle and having hero be one of the characters in it is we're also have been socially conditioned through comic books and
Everything.
media that the
Every book.
hero actually does liberate us or
Yes.
save us
Yes.
from whatever. And the drama triangle sounds like it kind of presents it in a way where it kind of breaks through that illusion
It does.
that the hero is actually a liberator.
Yeah.
You know, the drama triangle puts the hero in actually in a role of still being trapped.
Absolutely. Every story that we've read, every movie that we've watched has had this archetypical journey, like you said, the hero's
Yeah.
journey. There it is, to help us to understand that we need to wait for a liberator.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So I'm trapped in the drama triangle
Yeah.
and I am
Trying to get out,
taking on a
knocking on the
victim
doors.
role, a hero role, which
Yeah.
by the way, it's like, who wants to give that up? Because we all kind of want to be a hero to somebody, right? So I can
Well, I
see.
don't because I don't want to be in the drama triangle, but
Well,
I
if you
see what
didn't
you're
know that,
saying.
it's kind of like, well, I want to be seen as a hero and
Yeah.
I want to be, save the day and
Yeah. A lot of
be,
people get their self-worth
appreciated
in
and
that
all that
way.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's say I'm stuck in the drama triangle.
Yes.
Like, how do I get out?
So there's this idea that's another triangle
Okay.
that's called the empowerment dynamic by
Okay.
some people. What I've seen as I've read about this and learned about this is that most of the time the drama triangle is called the drama triangle, but I've seen the empowerment dynamic called a few different
Okay.
things. So the idea is that there's still three roles.
Okay.
So the victim becomes the creator.
Victim becomes the creator. Okay.
And we were just talking about how like the like how do you transmute that energy? And it really is about it's not about busting out of the drama triangle because that actually would be like embodying hero energy.
Hmm.
I'm going to break free, right? But to become the creator transmutes the drama that you're in into I have the ability to create in my life.
Okay.
Now, the other parts of that triangle are the challenger and the coach. And so the challenger is kind of like that perpetrator energy might be, where the challenger is going to be like, you can do it and like kind of like spur you on. So I'll describe this in a second. The coach would kind of be like, how are you going to do that? And that would kind of be like the resolving factor for the hero.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got this. I'm in the drama triangle and I'm feeling this victim energy. and I want to get out of the drama triangle. I want to get out of it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to see myself rather than the victim as the creator.
So you specifically shift and resource the element of the empowerment triangle that matches where you are in the victim triangle. Is that what you're saying?
It's an easy way to step out
Okay.
of it. It's not the only way to do it because this whole thing is a dynamic and
Mhm.
there's so many different dynamics that play within it. But that's one thing you can do. It's a good entry point.
Okay.
So if you see yourself as the victim, you can step right into the role of creator. And
Okay.
when you're the creator, the person who you used to perceive as the perpetrator can be perceived now as the challenger,
Ah, I see what you're saying.
right?
Okay. Yep.
And the hero could be perceived as the coach in this new dynamic. Now, one of the interesting things that I've found as people are trying to step out of the dynamic is sometimes the hero is in there trying to like totally mess with your stuff.
Mm.
And rather, you can start to advocate for yourself as the creator to like what I need and what I want. So the person who was being the hero can kind of step out of that a little bit more and start to be the coach rather than the person who's trying to fix it, you
Yeah.
know?
So actually, so it sounds to me like, I can't pay the rent, you must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent, you must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent, you must pay the rent. The coach then would say, so how can you learn to pay the rent on your own?
Exactly.
Instead of I'll pay the rent,
Right.
right? So the
Exactly.
hero goes from being the one who saves and becomes the one who now empowers the victim.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. And this whole thing plays out with a lot of different things that we do here at the Somatic Coaching Academy. One of the interesting things I think somatically is you can find in your body each of these different aspects of the
Mm-hmm.
roles of the empowerment dynamic to be able to shift from the drama triangle, because sometimes trying to think yourself out of it intellectually is so hard because we get so attached to, no, you're the perpetrator of my problems, you should be saving me and you're not doing anything,
Yeah.
or whatever dynamic is at play. We can really just be so attached to the reality that we see is actually happening. But when we start to experience something a little bit different in our bodies, we can start to shake that up. But also, as we start to experience something different in our bodies, all of a sudden we were the creator. Because I just like modified my sensory base. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how'd you do that? Well, I I just did it. Well, you just created it out of nothing? Yes, I did.
Yeah, right.
You're the creator.
Mhm.
You can create. Well, yes, I can. And there we go with a whole new dynamic. So
Interesting.
back to your question about the if two people are steeped in the drama triangle, I can step into my choice to be in the empowerment dynamic and I can stay and live there regardless of what you choose.
Okay.
To me, that's true liberation because I'm not attached with that, triangle anymore to how you're choosing to be, because I'm going to choose to be over here. And sometimes people will come and join you out of the drama triangle in the empowerment dynamic. Sometimes that will happen. And sometimes people will not choose to do that. They will choose to stay in the drama triangle, but you still get to be liberated.
Okay. Yeah. I can see how challenging that would be to be in a relationship where you recognize that you're in the drama triangle. The other person or people in the relationship don't recognize that they're in the drama triangle.
Yeah.
And then you decide to, wait, I want to choose the empowerment dynamic. So I'm
Yep.
going to take my triangle and like disconnect it from these other triangles.
Take my triangle and
I'm
leave.
going to take my triangle and leave. That I can see how some people would be like how challenging that would be for them.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about taking your triangle and leaving, and that feels painful for someone, like what advice would we give them?
Well, I got to tell you, when I worked specifically with couples, one of my favorite things to do right in the beginning of the engagement is to bring this in as common language.
Okay.
Because when and usually the couples that I've worked with, I'm trying to think throughout my brain, but I think most of them are like married couples or business partners. To bring this language up right away
Hmm.
helps people to have a common language that then when they make I statements, they can say, I feel like I'm in the drama triangle right now, and I feel like I'm trying to play the role of, or I am playing the role of. And it just gives a language around it that can really completely shake up the context. Because when I'm in a relationship with you, and you and I don't have common language, not just about this, but about anything. Like it just is really hard to communicate and move forward together. It is. So
Yeah.
having common language around what you're working on is really helpful. And this is one of them.
Mm.
So I always recommend that clients who are working with couples and business partners and stuff like that watch a little YouTube video or listen to a podcast like this together. Let's put it on in the car and listen to it. And that way they have some common language to talk about that dynamic, because it's so powerful, isn't it? To just, you both get to be creators
Yeah.
if you choose.
If you choose. What I thought was, as you were talking too, I was imagining a scenario where we're both trapped in our own drama triangles. And I decide that I'm taking my triangle and leaving.
Yeah.
And as I start to leave, I get all of the, oh, but you can't do that because, or even your partner says, I feel abandoned and
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What I would be thinking about for me as I'm going through this little imaginary exercise around it is I would ask myself, oh my God, if I feel compelled to stay in my drama triangle, which role am I addicted to?
Yes,
Right?
for
Because
sure.
when you look at it from the outside, if we say if you're in a situation that is not helpful, healthy, functional, and we don't remove ourselves from it, then there's something else going on under the surface where for some reason we feel like we're gaining more
Hmm.
than we're gaining more by being in that situation than if
Yep.
we left it.
Yeah.
So leaving it feels painful because our subconscious feels like it's giving something up to doing that, even though we know it's not healthy to be in it,
Yeah.
right? So I can even see how that feels like you're in the drama triangle and trapped and maybe even a victim of it.
Yeah.
But if I were to pull myself away and I feel like, no, man, I can't do it, I would ask myself, okay, right now, which of those roles do I feel like I can't let go of?
Yes.
And I think for me, that would give a lot of information about which one of those roles probably is the stickiest for me.
Yes. That's a really wonderful way to put it, because somebody could decide, I'm not going to be in the trauma triangle anymore. I'm going to go over to the empowerment dynamic. And just like they can't pay their rent, like how can you pay their rent?
Yep.
Like you could start to coach somebody, and then all of a sudden you're the perpetrator
Right. In their triangle.
in their
Exactly. Right.
story.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, was I still connected to the hero role? And I really didn't see it. And I thought I got out of it, but I really didn't. I mean, one of the most powerful ways, again, to really step out, no matter what role you're in, into the empowerment dynamic, is simply to step into the creator role yourself. Because remember, the the roles are all in this
Mhm.
interesting dynamic.
Yep.
So when you can step out, and rather than trying to quote unquote fix it by being, I'm not going to be the hero, I'm going to be the coach, like, hang on a second,
Mm.
you step into creator for you. Then what happens next? And that whole dynamic will start to become
So you're
different.
saying kind of the shortcut.
I
If
think
you're
the
not
shortcut.
sure where to go,
Yeah.
step into that creator role,
Yeah.
and that will kind of break the illusion or the drama tension or
Yeah.
the attachment to the triangle.
Yeah. And by the way, you can be doing this within yourself. You can be playing the victim, the perpetrator, and the hero within
Mm. Oh
yourself.
yeah, certainly.
Totally. And you can do the same thing with the empowerment dynamic. So you can be using it with different people, but you can also be using those dynamics within yourself to change the frequency of what's going on.
Really, oh, fascinating
Isn't
conversation,
it
Ani. I
cool?
love it. So,
I
any
do love
any
this.
final tip? Any final tip for our listeners around the drama triangle and how to get out?
Well, I
We
guess,
talked a lot about it, but you
yeah.
have any
Yeah, I think there's just
last words?
two things to remember. First of all, if you feel like you're a victim, a perpetrator, or you're the hero of a situation, after this conversation, you can pause and say, oh, wow, I'm the drama triangle, which creates awareness. Well, we talked about that, what, 2 weeks ago, about
The four steps to
making
conscious change.
conscious
Yeah, yeah, a
change.
couple
So
weeks
all
ago.
of a sudden you have awareness and you can decide if you want to change something. So recognizing when you're in the drama triangle, and then when and if you do, simply attempting to step into the creator role for yourself
Mm.
is just a really easy translation to get to something different so you can experience a new reality.
Oh, cool. I love it. I love it. Ani, thanks so much for walking us through the drama triangle today.
Yeah, it's been something that's been really powerful in my own life to help me to get out of drama. I mean, I know you haven't experienced a lot of it, but I've experienced plenty for both of us.
I live in a circle. We'll talk about that next time on the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope that this conversation will help you improve your practice and change the way you think about your work, your clients, and yourself.
Continue your exploration of trauma-sensitive somatic coaching by listening to more podcast episodes at somaticcoachingacademy.com. You could be the trusted guide that people turn to help them with their most challenging situations and to reach their most precious goals. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.